Hi guys. So today we're going to do a video. Hopefully it'll be a short one. I'm going to be making a wrap cabochon for an earring. So this is the first one. This is what I made, and we're going to be trying to make the mirror image today. So what I've got is 20 gauge square copper wire here, and I've got 3 lengths. I always cut them long, about 8 inches, maybe a little more. And then we're going to need, first, we're going to need a little bit of 21 gauge half round. And so I'm going to cut just a small piece off here. So the first thing we're going to want to do, let me stop this. Hi guys, welcome back. So today I'm going to be making the mirror image to this earring. So if you want to see how I did this, keep watching. Alright, so this is a very small cabochon. And so what I used here is 20 gauge square copper wire and 21 gauge half round so that I could make this cute little earring that will hang. And it's just kind of got a little bit of a swirl. So what I started out with is 3 lengths that are about 10 inches of 20 gauge square copper wire. And I've got a small piece of half round 21 gauge wire. So what I'm going to do is there's a round side and a flat side. So I don't know if you can see that on the camera. So there's the flat side. And see if I can get that in focus. Probably not. There we go. There's the round side. So what you're going to want to do, and I'm going to adjust the camera here just a little, just so we get it pretty good in focus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold these wires together, and I'm going to make sure that they're flat. And I'm going to want to go about the center of the wires. Doesn't have to be exact because, again, we're probably not going to need all of this. I like to cut them a little bit extra long so that I don't have to add anything. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure they're straight and smooth. And then I'm going to take my silicone ended pliers, my silicone tips, and I'm just going to hold on to them. And then I'm going to, and actually before I do that, I'm going to take this wire, making sure that I'm bending the correct side here. So let me look real quick. All right, so I've got the round part facing up. I am just going to put a bend in it. Okay, just a little bend, make a U, just so I have something to know which way my flat is. And you're going to want to make sure the flat side is toward your wires. And then you're going to hold that and just get the first turn started. That'll pretty much hold them together. And then we're going to wrap 4 times. I think I have 4, maybe 5 on that. So I'm just going to wrap pretty tightly. And I know it's not exactly in the center. We'll get that here in a minute. Before we tighten that down, I'm just going to slide it to the center, crimp it down. And that's 4. There's 5. Crimp that down. And then you're going to want to make sure when you cut it that you cut on the inside that you can fold over. So I'm just going to bend it there just a little bit, clip off that side, and then bend this, clip off that side, and then use my flat pliers to fold those down. So that's going to be on the inside. I'm just cleaning it up a little bit, making sure it looks neat. And there we go. So that gets your wires together, and they're locked pretty tight. This thing will move a little bit, but not by much. Then I'm going to take, and so I measured this out, the cabochon is about the same size as my largest round, a little bit, this one's a little bit bigger, but that's what I want. So to make life easy, I'm just going to take it and kind of wrap it around this, just to kind of get it started, just because you really don't want to wrap it around your cabochon, or try to wrap it around your cabochon. And then I'm just going to hold it down, and I'm going to bend my wires, trying to keep them lined up. And I know this stage looks really messy. It's not perfect. But that's about where it's going to be. And so what we're going to do is I'm just manipulating it here with my fingers. You can use pliers to kind of bend it a little more, but you kind of want to make sure that it's even. And I've got a bunny under my feet again, so I know I told you in the last video, Velvet likes to beg at my feet for cookies while I'm editing videos or doing videos. And so while I was making this one, she was quiet. As soon as I start talking, she's like, feed me. So, all right. So now we've got that there. What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to wrap. So what you don't see, because it's kind of buried in here, you might be able to see it. Let's see if I can get that in focus. Just a little bit. You can see right in here that there is some wrapping. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this so that it kind of locks it in place. First things I'm going to do, though, real quick, is take these back wires and just kind of create a bend in it. So I'm trying to hold on to it without... because this is going to be the back. This is what's going to help hold in our pendant. So I'm just turning it in just a little bit. Just a hair. And we'll clean this up a little bit in the next. Actually, we're just going to fix that real quick. There. And I will clean it up in a bit once we get these wires wrapped. I just wanted to get those started because once I wrapped it in the other one, it was kind of tight and a pain. And now we're going to make sure that these are lined up and even. So this is the tricky part because these wires all want to go in a million different directions here. Here, Cookie. There you go, baby. Yeah, see, they're all, they like to get twisted. So I am just going to make sure they're lined up. 3 on top of each other, 3 on top of each other. There we go. All right. There. All right, at least they will line up. Now, I'm going to take a small length of my half round wire. Not that long, just, you know, about 6-7 inches. I like to have extra just in case you have to break it or undo it or it gets twisted. And we are going to start out on the inside of one and just kind of give it a little U shape. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it around just one side of it and tuck that in. If you can't get to it, these are very tiny, so you can use your pliers. It's just to kind of lock it in place. We will cut that end off here in a minute. And now I'm going to make sure these are lined up. And I'm just going to wrap and make sure I'm pulling as tight as I can on this because you want this tight. So I am just going to do 3-4 wraps. And then I am just going to trim it on toward the back. And then we're just going to fold that over. Make sure that's pinched down real good. This is going to get hidden, so it's not going to get seen. So you really don't have to worry about hiding the end on this because it's not going to be shown. Now I'm going to trim this kind of right in there, and I'm going to tuck it just down in so that it is hidden out of the way and toward the back. All right. So now we've got that, we can set our stone in, and it's going to be tight. So you're going to want to kind of pop it in to, there we go. It pops in. It's pretty tight right now, but I like to take the top one and just with my fingernail just kind of lift it up just a little bit over the cabochon. Now it's going to get locked into place with all of this, the swirls, but I just wanted to make sure that that is in place. Now I'm just going to slide this down as far as I can. And we're going to separate out the 2 back ones. So first, let's see. We've got front and that's a side, that's a side. There's the front. That's a side, that's a side. Okay. So, the 2 front ones are just going to stay straight. And because this one is swirling to this direction, we are going to swirl in the other direction. So we are going to start with this side. And I'm going to just hold my thumb there so that it doesn't like get too small. And then I'm just going to swirl around it and this is just going to swirl to the back. Okay, and so what I'm going to do here is there's a little gap right here. I'm going to lift up this wire, this back wire, just a hair, so that I can kind of tuck it in behind that wire, because we want to kind of hook it in there just a little bit. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cut off just a little bit below the cabochon, and then I'm going to kind of flatten these out a little bit, but curling them at the same time. And I'm going to stick those right underneath that wire. It's kind of going to lock them in place. So you've got your swirl there, and we've got our start. Now, to get the remainder of the swirls, we're going to take the other two back wires, and I'm going to do them one at a time. So the back one is going to go behind the swirl and then down below it. And then it's going to come down around the back, and we're going to make a swirl right in front of the cabochon. And we're not going to finish that just yet. Okay, so that's starting to look about the same. Now we're going to take this other one, and it's going to go in front of that. Okay, and then down and around and back behind and up and I'm just trying to clean up my swirls here, making sure they're nice and together. And that back one comes out just a hair more. And that one's got to come out. There. There we go. It's a little bit better. And then that one. Okay. Okay. And again, this, you can manipulate this as much as you need to get it to the way you want it. If you're not satisfied with it, you can undo it a little bit. There we go. There. That's what I wanted. And now this other one, which was not attached yet, is going to come up, around, on top, and it's going to stop right there. So now I know it looks like it's a mess right now. We will flatten this out. We will fix this, and we will add our additional swirls. Again, see, you can manipulate the wires to get them to cooperate into. All right. And then what we're going to do is we are going to cut this guy just shy of And I was cutting that off camera just because I didn't want to have it go flying at my camera. And we're just going to curl that just a hair more and flatten it into. And then this guy's going to get cut there. And we're going to flatten the end just by pinching it just a little bit with the flat nose pliers. And then that is going to get flattened into the end there. Finishing our swirl. Now that swirl's a little bit bigger than what I had on the other one. I may trim this down, both of these, just a hair, just to get them a little more uniform. Curl that one in just a hair more. And then this one can get trimmed. And we're going to flatten him there. All right. Looking pretty good. Now, what we're going to do with the remaining ones is this front one is going to be the loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my smallest looper and I'm going to create a wrapped loop by coming down and trying not to get this wire. We're just going to pull this guy out of the way for now. And then we're just going to make a quickly wrapped loop and just loop it twice, because what all we're trying to do is make something for a bail that can be used, and that is so messy. I'm just going to try to clean this up just a hair. I'm very picky about there. And then we're just going to do 2 quick wraps. And then I'm going to trim that. And then I'm going to tuck in the end right there. Tucking it in so that it's not a snag point. And then this last wire, now that we have our loop, is going to, so let's see, it's opposite of these other loops. So we're just going to turn it, holding on to it, creating a loop. Nope, wrong way. We're going to back out of that, right? Oh no, that was right. I was right. Yeah, that's right. So there's one. We're going to go across here with a second one. And then this is going to get wrapped around. And we are going to cut it. And yes, getting another cookie, she is. And I bumped the camera. Sorry about that, guys. We are going to cut it. And then pinch, curl it just a hair, and tuck it in. And so there we go. Again, I'm going to fidget with these a little bit, I think, because this one didn't come out quite as pointy as the other one. But I think if I just adjust it just a hair, like that. That doesn't look right. It's that one that doesn't look right. Round nose, round nose, round nose. There we go. So all I'm doing is trying to round it a little bit with the point. It looks a little bit better. I'll keep fidgeting with this probably off camera. Just gonna work on it a bit, and then to clean up the back, really all you need to do is just kind of take your pliers, pinch them, and so that is a pair of earrings, and I think they're probably going to go that way. So I'm going to keep fidgeting with these off camera just because you don't need to see me mess with them for 20 minutes because I need to get them perfect. But that is a wire wrapped pendant, and I hope you enjoyed it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi guys.